This is my 168th video on my work with OO gauge. See part 1 of this series for my reasons for getting into OO gauge, when I already had a lot invested in working in N gauge and I didn't really have space available for a large, fully operational OO gauge layout. Also see my series on my N gauge railway modelling for smaller and more complex scenery and smaller scale trains running. This part will continue my progress with my Hornby Dublo 3-rail tabletop railway. Just a brief one this time, showing some things that finally arrived this weekend, and my plans to use some of those things for another round of updates to my 3-rail tabletop track plan. Since my good Sony still camera, the HX60V, basically died whilst making my last video, I'll be using the Panasonic Lumix TS30 for my pictures this time, a rather lower-end camera, but hopefully it will suffice for this. I've pretty much decided to bite the bullet and get another Sony HX, as I had gotten used to the convenience and the quality. Fingers crossed that the new model will live up to the performance of its deceased ancestor. On Saturday, Intelcom, on behalf of eBay Global Shipping, finally delivered 4 more of the items that I bought on eBay UK back in August, all related to my plans for my Hornby Dublo 3-rail tabletop railway. This was all one item, one listing purchased on eBay, that is, a jumble of accessories, mostly of Dublo vintage, which came to me packed in this old-style file folder, although when they came they were also wrapped in tissue paper inside the folder for safety. It was a bit of an adventure just sorting through this stuff to see exactly what I'd got. The presence of these 5 Dublo-style buffer stops was, as much as anything else, what decided me to buy this lot. I'm definitely going to need a bunch of buffers to go on the ends of my sidings, terminal station tracks, etc. These are all Dublo buffers, more for 2-rail track, I think, as they don't have the little metal clips on the front that the 3-rail ones had. Still, I think they'll work okay with my 3-rail tracks, but they will need to be screwed down, along with the ends of the tracks being screwed down, for them to really work properly. I hope that the 2mm screws that I bought will hold things down okay in my foam tabletop. I still haven't tried that. 3 of these buffer stops are metal and the other 2 are plastic, although they look very similar. The buffers in them are sprung with a good deal of movement, so hopefully when things are fixed in place, that should stop trains nicely if they do hit the buffers. I also got 3 loading gauges. One of them, the one that's sort of on the bottom here, is the nicest Dublo type, made of metal with the curved gauge part actually suspended by little chain links. There was also a rather massive jumble of signals and signal parts. There were 3 Dublo electrically operated signals. I haven't tried those to see if they actually work yet. It's not really a major issue for me, as I'm not really planning to have electrically operated signals on my tabletop. But obviously they might be worth more to someone else if they actually work. Apart from the electrically operated signals, there were quite a number of manually operated signals in various conditions, mostly metal ones. There was even one electric colour light signal in a little bag. That's at top left here, sort of partially off the picture. There were 2 complete water cranes and a couple of extra water crane bases, also some plastic telegraph poles. Another purchase that I received was this set of 5 isolating points, as seen here, 3 left-hand and 2 right-hand. Some of them seem to be in rather ropey condition, but hopefully I should be able to fix them up and get them working properly. I really need these for my ongoing track plans. I also received this Locomotive model, together with 2 more 3-rail LMS coaches. This is another Duchess of Atholl. I believe that was the only Coronation-class loco that Hornby made in 3-rail. Well, in LMS anyway. They made the Duchess of Montrose in BR livery. I've bought etched plates from Fox Transfers back in my old home ground of Leicestershire, and I'm going to be renaming and renumbering this model to make it the Duchess of Buccleuch, which was another of the first batch of Coronation-class locos that went into service with the LMS without streamlining in 1938. I tried the new Duchess in the servicing cradle on the bench, just to see what its running condition was. I was impressed. It ran readily with less power than any of my other three-rail locos did on first try. Another item that I received was this super-quick two-road engine shed. Of course, this isn't really Hornby Dublo, but I'm planning to build it and use it on my three-rail tabletop on the end of the dual siding at back right. I saw on YouTube someone using a shed built from this kit on their three-rail layout, and I thought that it fitted in well. Let's hope that it will fit well on mine. I had a bit of a go at the worst of the new points, as this one clearly wasn't going to work at all in the condition in which it came, and I do really need it for my plans. With some bending and scraping and cleaning with contact cleaner, I did manage to get the point to provide continuity for the third rail, and to switch that continuity properly when the point was changed. So that was a good sign, though I'll need to do quite a bit more work on track pieces to get all of my planned changes in place. But for now I just tried laying out the track pieces that I plan to use on the tabletop to make sure that I have what is needed and that things will actually fit the way I'm thinking of having them. The first thing that will need to be done is replacing the left-hand point seen here. That point is currently in place switching between these two siding and works okay, but it's a non-isolating point which wouldn't allow for the sidings to be used independently. That is, pulling a loco into or out of one at the same time that another loco was parked in the other. So I'll be fixing up and testing one of the new isolating left-hand points and fitting it here. Then I want to fit one of the new isolating right-hand points as the first section in the nearer siding. That point will then branch off to another straight siding at an angle. I'm planning to have a goods shed on that line. I've bought a Dublo metal goods depot, but only recently, so it will be a while before it comes. Then I'll have to see how it will fit. I'd think that it might fit on the far side of the line, and if not, surely it should fit on the near side of that line. I'll see when it comes. Pausing there because there was a train going by, but I think it's a short train, so I'll carry on. I've tentatively placed buffer stops at the ends of all my terminating lines, although nothing is fixed down yet. I've only just got enough buffer stops for my plans with the 5 from the recent order and 1 that came with the heavy freight train set. Here are the buffer stops at the ends of the station lines. I'm planning to use the curved power feed track from the freight train set so that I can have my power feed here on the front left corner of the table rather than on the front straight, allowing me more freedom to modify the front straight. Whilst I was at it, I put the distance signal that came with the freight set here, though I don't really know what I'll end up doing with regards to signals on the tabletop. So the current straight power feed track that you can see here won't be used anymore so long as the curved one on the corner works okay. I want to put one of the new right-hand isolating points here to the right of the level crossing, providing for another siding. All being well, that siding will go right along the front of the table and then curve round in the corner, as seen here. That will really probably pretty much complete my track setup, and if things seem to be working okay, I'll start to try screwing the tracks down. I'm planning, all being well, to put the TPO equipment track next to the point left of the level crossing, right of the level crossing, I beg your pardon, more or less where the straight power feed track is here. Well, it'll actually be a quarter straight to the right of that. I'm a bit nervous about the functioning of the TPO, and I'm also not sure if it will fit there with a footbridge like that. I'll have to see. These track pans pretty much use up all of the straight track that I have, and almost all of the points, so I have lots of standard curves left over. Okay, a couple of minor last-minute adjustments. I decided to put a manual uncoupling track at the start of the branch for the goods shed, I have several of these, so I might as well put one here where it might be useful. I also decided that whilst I was pulling apart and connecting track, I might as well get the TPO operating track into place. No real sense leaving it to the future and having to pull the track apart again. As you can see, the TPO equipment will just fit there with the footbridge in place, though it's rather close. And if you can hear more background noise now, it's because a storm's blown in and rain's beating on the window. I was quite impressed to see that the TPO set came with its original testing tag, tested by ML56. That would presumably mean that this TPO set was tested at the Meccano factory in Binns Road, Liverpool, by somebody with the initials ML in 1956, and that tag has managed to stay with the set for 66 years. Actually, the set looks to be in almost new condition. I don't think that it's been used a lot since ML tested it. I'll test it myself soon, but not just yet. I want to get all of this track work finished first. That's it for this little video. I have a bunch of work to do cleaning and preparing all of this track, and then I'll get it connected up and keep my fingers crossed that I can get everything working properly.